Kids and families are basically the future of this country. And it's very interesting listening even to the Democratic Convention the last couple of nights, because the messaging now is all about the future, all about the future. And the truth is, if you care about the future, then you have to invest in kids and families. And I've spent my life building the biggest child advocacy groups in the country and running them and having a big impact with them. But I would tell you, you always run into the biggest challenge, which is young people don't vote. They don't sit on corporate boards. They don't make big decisions. So how do you make an agenda happen for them? To me, that's one of the most important things facing the upcoming whoever is president. But it's also one of the unsung hero stories of the Biden administration.
One of the things that we're seeing is, with this particular election is an unprecedented opportunity, as we can speak into all of the negatives, but we are seeing this is a youth generation that actually outnumbers boomers for the first time in an election cycle. So for us with Voto Latino, one of the things that we're really trying to champion, especially because of mental health issues, because of the environment, because of gun violence, because of the war in the Middle East, because of so many different issues, you're seeing a lot of young people saying they want to sit out this election, that this is the one they can really claim and own and make a difference in. And one of the things that's so powerful about what's particularly happened with this election is the movement of young people who have demanded more from the Democratic Party and really put it on the line, and seeing that that actually got answered.
Younger people are just deeply concerned about the instability in their lives, right? Instability. That their goal for the next period of their lives in their late teens and 20s is to be, quote, financially independent, right? It doesn't mean wealthy, it means financially independent. The number of people, I did 2 focus groups last week, one in Charlotte and one in Minneapolis. Each had about 15 people for a documentary called The Power of Z, coming soon. A third of people in each of those 2 groups had already experienced homelessness. Okay, randomly pulling 15 people who represent those communities. It is incredible the number of groups I assemble where that doesn't come up because people experience that. And in some cases in Minnesota, we have folks who experience it, younger people living in tents outside their grandparents' house because of the recession, and now are forced basically couch to couch to couch because without access to affordable housing or being prepared to save first and last month's rent, those sorts of things, right? So by wrapping this up in terms of this is a kind of a future agenda that provides stability not only for yourself, but for the next generation, I think is incredibly powerful. I think that this generation also is different than older's for a couple of reasons. One is they care so much about protecting the vulnerable. Okay, no generation is more vulnerable than younger people, and this is kind of inherent in who they are, one. And the second thing is every semester, as our students, like Anil, by the way, we have the chair of the Harvard Public Debate Project there, who might comment soon, but every year over the last 25 years, we see younger people becoming more progressive by defining progressivism as believing that government needs to solve problems like this.
What we're seeing there is an extraordinary link both between educational performance and, quite frankly, youth mental health that relates to social media. And also we're seeing, finally, big wins. And this is without the help of Congress. This is with the opposition of almost all the major tech companies in the United States, which is crazy. But they're coining money. They're the largest, wealthiest corporations in the history of the world, and they're finally being regulated, largely in California and Europe. But they go into, in my opinion, a broad agenda for kids and families in this country. If you do not regulate in a healthy way tech, and now it will be AI, the new frontier, you will not have a healthy and happy group of young people, and quite frankly, you will lose many issues related to our democracy as well, but that's a different discussion.
The AI information that's already out there and the threat of it, the disinformation and misinformation, particularly on Facebook, particularly on social media, that is dissuading people is really critical. You all know from the story of what happened here in Chicago, just I think a day or 2 after the war started on October 7th, that we had a 7-year-old who was murdered by, I think, the landlord or this person who literally had known him since before he was born, had built him a treehouse in the backyard, and through the president, our president then, calling all Palestinians terrorists, ended up stabbing this child to death. Like, this is the kind of, you know, our minds are being manipulated to bypass our hearts. And so we cannot let any doubt, any misinformation, any disinformation to dissuade people from using their voice in this election.